Hey Paul, how you doing?
Pretty good.
Last week we talked about you attending an open AA meeting for class. And can you kind of refresh my memory about what happened during that meeting?
Yeah, sure. During the meeting, I had listened to the main speaker. It was cool to hear her story, kind of hear how she went through the whole cycle of addiction and recovery. And it was interesting to kind of see, reflect that, or kind of like, look at myself and kind of, think of my own personal experience with alcohol. And kind of like I told you afterwards, they were really friendly. A guy named Reese came up to me and kind of asked me, who I was and why I was there, and just didn't really ask me why I was there, but he kind of just, said hi to me, and kind of we just ended up started talking about, our personal experiences, struggles, and with what we've dealt with, and kind of who we are, where we're at, and stuff. And yeah, it was really cool because he had mentioned to me that he had been 5 years sober, and during the past couple of years, he hasn't had any desire to go back to drinking and using drugs. So that was really cool to me, and it kind of made me realize that support groups like that are really beneficial.
Okay, and I remember that you said something about that after the meeting, or because of the meeting, you did some self-reflection about your process of when you stopped drinking. Can you talk about that again? Remind me what that was like. And I think that's where our conversation had to end, is when we started talking about what came out of your self-analysis of how you stopped drinking.
Okay. Well, do you mean my self-analysis?
Like you
Self-analysis was kind of like, because I'm trying to remember back now.
Okay.
I mean, when I heard the woman's story, it kind of made me, reminded me of my own personal experience. And I guess, thinking back to when I had stopped drinking, I guess really what happened was I felt, confronted and scared in a way, because I really felt like what I was doing was dangerous.
Okay.
And scared for my life a little bit, and also realizing that I kind of hit rock bottom.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit for me?
Yeah, I guess, well, I used to drink heavily. Let's see, I think it was in 2012 or 2011. I kind of slowed down drinking, and I started using different drugs, and got into harder opiate drugs, and so it was kind of a mixture of hard drugs and drinking, whichever I kind of drinking if I didn't have enough money for the different drugs. It was kind of a mixture of both, and I was kind of, like I said, at rock bottom, didn't have a lot of money, and I was kind of like whatever's available.
Okay.
And so, like I said, though, I got scared because it kind of hit me like a brick wall. Realized all my friends weren't really my friends at all.
Okay.
And realized kind of the kind of people they were, and I became scared for my life because I was not really working or making enough money, and I felt like I was going to be kind of, I wasn't really any help to my friends, so they didn't really need my help, so they weren't able to help me, and I was pretty much kind of like, just like in a tough situation. I had some things, and I felt like everybody was gonna steal my stuff, and at one point I thought somebody was gonna kill me, and I think a lot of it could have been paranoia too.
Okay. So they
because
weren't
I didn't
necessarily real fears. You think that they were made up in your mind from?
I think I had a good reason for what I was believing, but looking back at some of the things, I can kind of see and understand the situation.
Okay. So what was the process of you stopping using?
Drugs, I got a job,
Okay.
and I had weaned off kind of like I'd been using Suboxone to wean off of like that opiate addiction.
Okay,
And did that during work, and I mean, I'd moved back in with my parents, and my brothers and sisters, I don't know, I was like always like talking my mom's ear off, and then like the next minute I'd be like asleep on the table drooling, and like I
Mhm.
woke up one time and I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore,
yeah.
like I'm a terrible example, and I just,
So it sounds like that's when you got your power back and you
Yeah.
decided.
Yeah.
I remember you said last week though that you stopped drinking without the help of an AA 12-step type program. You did it on your own?
yeah,
Okay. And that, it sounded like last week you thought maybe going to that open AA meeting, you questioned, I think you used the word dry drunk, the term dry drunk.
yeah, because I think during the like initial part of my sobriety, I was fine because I had a lot of power, I was really motivated.
Mhm.
But then, like as the second year came along, I never relapsed really, but there was times when I was, you know, like I could only think about drinking, or I could only think about using,
Okay.
and you know, so yeah, that definitely I was,
Okay.
you know, I could try drunk and think that went on for a while.
So you, do you think you're gonna return to that AA, that group that you
Yeah.
went to that open meeting with?
I don't know if I would return to that one particularly, but I did get the guy's number I talked to, and he does go to different groups which are closer to my home, and if not that, I think I would definitely want to continue going to another support group which I have recently like kind of observed / kind of just I wanted to go check it out, is through a kid from church, and
Okay.
so I think getting involved is something that I'm going to try to do if
Okay.
I can get my scheduling together.
Okay. What do you hope to gain from a support group?
Just like coping skills, I suppose, and I guess a network of people who kind of understand where I'm at, so then they can continue to give me wisdom and resources and, you know, advice to, you know, do like what's best for me.
Okay. How much time we at?
You're at almost 8 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's really good.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about tonight, Paul?